Hey guys, Otto here, back with another video. So I have a guilty admission to make. Now, in the first 18 months of running my agency, I largely had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know whether I should focus my limited time and resources and cash on outreach or cold calls or running ads or making content or whatever it might be. But in almost all cases, I found myself working on tasks and trying to get work done that never really pushed the needle forward. It was always work that I knew in the long run was important to do, but wasn't actually in itself, generating clients and bringing money into the business. So maybe you're in a similar position. Maybe you are thinking you need to make YouTube videos like these instead of doing outreach, or maybe you're spending all your time on learning to run ads and trying to get clients, top of funnel that way. Perhaps you're cycling through responding to emails that aren't urgent, doing client work, or replying to your accountant, whatever it might be, because you simply don't know what to focus on. And look, therein lies the age-old problem of launching an offer from an idea and then dealing with the fact that you actually don't know as a business owner what you should be working on in order to make money and truly move the needle. Now, in this video, what I'm going to do is reveal a very simple heuristic that I call the offer compass. It's going to be something that I guarantee you will know exactly what you should be working on and why in order to generate new clients and bring in cash to the business once you've gone through this heuristic and you understand it. Okay. So the problem here is that if you don't follow this advice, the results and the suffering that you're going to experience is almost guaranteed. It's inevitable. Okay. Whatever your offer is, whatever you create, whatever you bring to market, the likelihood of that succeeding is very low unless you take this heuristic on board. And what that means is that if you continue how you are now, you will never be able to step off of this constant flywheel of having a great idea come to mind, doing what you can to launch the offer, going to market, and then ultimately wasting a ton of time, a ton of money, and the idea eventually fails. Results in you being despondent, losing motivation, and then thinking, is this business game even for me? Okay. So before we actually jump into the offer compass concept, what I need to make clear is really what a go-to-market strategy is. Now, I make these videos because I really, really love nothing more than finding hidden in plain sight strategies and playbooks from different business worlds, like the SaaS world, identifying those, reducing those down into something that's consumable and understandable from your point of view, and then actually sharing it with somebody like yourself who's going to then apply it to your agency or your coaching or consulting offer. Okay. So have you ever had an idea come to mind? If you're anything like me, you will have like thousands of pages on your notes app where you have got this new concept, you've seen a potential new sort of vein of gold that you want to tap into offers wise, you've bought your domains, you've launched your landing pages, written copy, whatever it might be, and ultimately that idea has flopped. And when it's come to closing clients and actually getting them to physically give you their money, you've not been able to achieve that, or maybe you've not been able to achieve it consistently. Okay, so the key thing to remember here is that you're not alone. So there was a study done a few years back that basically analyzed a load of startups over a 3-year period. And what it found was that basically almost all startups within 20 months of their last financing raise or fundraise go out of business. And these are startups that have previously and historically already raised 1.3 million USD in investment capital. And the insights I'm going to share with you right now were basically developed in order to save these types of companies. And the principles and methodologies are ones that I've used over the last 6 years to really transform my agency, know exactly what I should be focusing on work-wise at any one point in time. And really, it's been a playbook that I've been able to use to successfully scale and spend the majority of my time now focusing on work that I actually enjoy and work that moves the needle in terms of our unique value proposition. Okay. So the goal here really is to know who your target market is. Okay. And like I say, you might not know whether you should be running ads or doing DMs or sat on sales calls yourself. Maybe it's hiring SDRs or appointment setters. You're in a position where you just don't know what to focus on. Okay. And what we want to do here is basically deliver a product or an offer that makes a hugely good impression in terms of presenting your value proposition, because you only really have one chance to make it. Okay, so whether you're launching a new coaching program or a SaaS or a new service, whatever it is, a new service delivery model, it's about not only avoiding monumental failure and a flop and suffering the pain that comes with that, but it's actually doing it in a way that you can launch it, bring it to market, present your value prop in the best way so that you can build on momentum and actually generate sales. Okay. That is your go-to-market strategy. But the real question here and the challenge is, how do you actually get there? Now, conceptually, one thing to realize with any business, whether it's a startup, or I'm just trying to find my diagram here, find the right one, whether it's a startup or a coaching offer, an agency, whatever it might be, with any business, what it comes down to is the transfer of belief. Now, in the case of a startup and this incredibly artistic diagram here, we've got a few key stakeholders and individuals in this belief transference process. Now, what it starts off with is a founder. So it might be yourself. You conceptually have the idea, and it's up to you to transfer that belief to your company, to your startup. Okay. So maybe you have one VA, maybe you don't have anybody in your company right now, but the goal eventually will be to scale to a point where you have, people that you can delegate to, and really run the operations of your business without you having to do so yourself. So the transference of the idea starts with that coming from you as a founder, and being processed and sent over towards your company and your startup. Okay. From there, it's up to your company and your startup to transfer that belief. And in the concept of, SaaS businesses, transfer that belief to a investor in order to actually get money so that you can bring your product to the market, get proof of concept, develop it and grow it from there. And then from there, as a business and with your company, it's up to you to transfer belief to the marketplace, okay, and all of your customers and clients who will be eventually buying for you. Now, it's this last transfer of belief that proves to be the most tenuous. It's the hardest thing to do. It might be quite easy for you to pitch an idea to a VA who ultimately you're going to pay to do work. Or maybe it's easy for you as a founder or a co-founder or somebody with a small team to sit with investors and say, this is the idea, this is what we're going to do, this is our belief. But when it comes to actually getting people to give you money and have money land physically in your bank account for delivering that service or delivering that product, that oftentimes proves to be the biggest difficulty and hurdle when it comes to actually transferring this belief. Now, in order to overcome this challenge, whether you have $1 million in the bank or $0 in the bank right now, you must know whether to focus on sales or marketing in order to actually bring your offer to the marketplace and deliver it for success. Now, I'm going to scroll to another diagram here. Very, very simple one. Marketing, sales, sales, marketing, two sides of a coin, two ends of a spectrum. Okay. So sales and marketing are fundamentally the two levers that you as a business owner can pull in order to make your offer or your SaaS a success. Okay. But knowing which one to pull and finding the right balance between the two is really the challenge at hand. Now, a chap called Mark Leslie, who is the former CEO of a tech company called Veritas, which ultimately sold or was disposed of through a demerger it was about 2006 for $8 billion. He then went on to be a professor at Stanford Business School and basically worked with a group of professors where they locked themselves practically in a room with the goal of coming up with a sales course and a solution that would ultimately be able to be deployed and used by any startup founder who was launching a new offer that they basically wanted to avoid failing on. So it was a way for them to create a playbook and a system that would enable any startup founder or business owner to create a bulletproof go-to-market strategy. Now, the thing that I find really, really interesting is that basically nobody in this online agency space uses insight or frameworks like these to test whether their offer is going to work or not. Now, we have a tool called ratemyoffer.co. It's totally free to use. It takes 30 seconds to complete. And if you plug in what your current existing headline offer is, for example, the offer that you have calling out your ideal client profiles on your landing page, if you plug that into ratemyoffer.co, we'll actually give you back a numerical rating on how strong that offer is. Okay, so what we've been able to do there on the back end is build a database of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different offers from all around the world so that we can get an up-to-date, live, real-time view of what offers are actually working from a reversed engineered perspective, and then what offers are really suffering the most competition and saturation. So really it's a tool that you can use in order to avoid those offers and actually clone and copy the offers that are working. But what Leslie did within this meeting with his colleagues at Stanford was basically come up with 7 core components for analysis. Now, these 7 core components are incredibly useful when applying to your current offer now, and they will give you a specific viewpoint of whether you should pursue basically a sales intensive strategy or a marketing intensive approach with that offer. Now, what this comes down to in practical terms is really the question of, have you got an offer that you are naturally going to have to be driving forward from a sales perspective, or have you got an offer that you are going to really have to double down on marketing? Now, with me, if you subscribe to the channel, if you don't, please subscribe. Most of you guys watching actually don't subscribe, so it'd be much appreciated if you do. You'll know already about my experience where I didn't make my money and build my wealth from selling online courses. If you go back 6 years, I'm not there saying, buy my course on how I built an agency. I ran an agency for 6 years. We actually still continue to this day to run that agency, albeit in a productized way. And because of the nature of that offer, because of the 7 core components that I'm going to reveal to you now, it didn't dictate a marketing-led strategy for us in order to scale and be successful and get clients. Okay, so because our price wasn't at that price point, or because of the time investment, or whether our clients needed to be educated or not, or how long the relationship was with our clients, again, each of which I'm going to go through now quickly with you, we didn't actually need to produce content or YouTube videos in order to get clients. We had a very sales intensive approach. Whereas if you've got a digital product, maybe you sell, I don't know, an Instagram growth course or whatever on Gumroad or whatever it might be for $50, then it's not going to warrant your time or investment or expenditure to bring on sales reps to sit on calls and try and close, customers and clients, or B2C customers really, on a product that costs $50 or $30, whatever it might be. And I'm going to go through that specific process and relationship, and how you can actually understand what approach to take with your company and your offer as it stands now, because it will be this the determining factor of whether you are a success in actually being able to sell that offer or not. Okay. So the reason this go-to-market strategy is important is really because we want to avoid a failing idea. We want to avoid investing a shit ton of time and money and losing a load of cash flow and investment capital on an idea that ultimately flops and fails, okay? One that you might not be able to sell. We want to do this and leverage these 7 core components too, because we want to build momentum in our business. And when we lose momentum and we're not making sales and we're losing money and we're losing time, then basically it ends up in a depressive state, either of your business or likely yourself as well, where you'll probably want to give up and get a job. Okay, so we don't want that as a business owner. And as well, with a good go-to-market strategy and leveraging these 7 points that I'm going to go through, it's going to be a way for you to basically avoid having to compete or losing out ground, sales and revenue, whatever, and opportunities to competitors that are potentially, up against you in the marketplace. Okay, so these 7 core questions here are what can be used to really underpin the compass. And the compass is an analogy that you can use for your offer, which is going to provide you the direction that you take. Okay, so it's all about providing you with clarity and knowing exactly what you need to focus on when you have a limited pool of resources, time and money. Okay, now, if you don't know what to be focused on, whether that is cold calling or whether it's making YouTube videos, these 7 core questions are going to help you. And what Leslie has done and what he used was basically the context of a company selling toothpaste and then a company selling jet engines, and how both require fundamentally different approaches when it comes to sales and marketing. And the 7 core components here are can be seen linked to this compass image here. Okay, so the first one is price. The second is market size, so how big the market is, how many total customers you have in that pool. Complexity of the product and your offer. Fit and finish. B2B or B2C, so whether you're selling to companies or you're selling to a wider pool of homogenous B2C or customers. Customer lifetime value, and then touch points, okay, and the relationships that you have with those clients and how actually success is measured in your business. Now, what I'm going to do here is scroll down, and I'm going to skip past this here, which is basically a very simple sort of graphical representation of the relationship and intersection between sales and marketing. Okay, so if you have a product that is marketing intensive, i.e. maybe it's got a lower price point, you've got thousands or millions of potential customers who are all going to pay $10 a month for it or whatever, intensity on the marketing front is going to be high up here. Okay, juxtaposed with, say, you're selling jet engines, whatever it might be. It's a long, arduous sales process. Every relationship you build with a potential client could be worth billions of dollars over the next 10 to 20 plus years. Then this is going to sit here on this intersection and spectrum, okay, sales intensive. So when it comes to the relationship between sales and marketing, we're going to go through each of these 7 points here, okay? And the way I'm going to do this is basically talk through each individual point here in the context of selling toothpaste, like a commodity item, and jet engines, which is a highly kind of specialized product that is built and developed and served to a limited pool of potential B2B buyers. And I'm going to also talk through how you can specifically apply this to your coaching product or your agency service. Okay, so this is really, really granular, useful data and information that you can plug into your business. Okay, so if you've gotten to this point in the video so far, keep watching, because I promise you, once we go through all of these, you're going to know exactly what you need to be focusing on. You're going to scrap your current to-do list, and what you basically need to work on right here, right now, in order to generate cash is going to reveal itself to you. Okay, so stick around to the end of this video. We're going to get through it together, right? So the first point here, the first element of the of Leslie's compass is price. Okay, so if you are selling a toothpaste for $2 per tube, what it's not going to do is warrant the cost of hiring, training, and then deploying a sales rep, or indeed a team of sales reps, to go out to each individual customer in order to influence them and close the sale. Whereas when you are selling jet engines, the price maybe to even build a jet engine is $100,000, and indeed to sell it, it's $200,000. You can see that the approach here is going to be one that dictates a sales intensive approach. Okay, so making YouTube videos or putting out, I don't know, Instagram posts for jet engines is not what's going to get buyers. What's going to get buyers is actually going out to market with a team of sales reps, building those relationships and closing on the big bucks. Okay, so if this is you, if you operate a service that is like that, you're going to sit up here on this spectrum. Okay, so just whack that star there just for a visual representation. Now, the second question to ask yourself is the market size. So if you're running an agency or you're selling digital products, how big is your market size in real terms? And ask yourself the question, is it easier for you to find them being your clients and customers, as opposed to them finding you? Okay, so if it is that way around, so it's easier for you to find them as opposed to them finding you, then what your offer is going to dictate is that you have a sales intensive approach. Okay, and this is exactly the same as what we had with the traditional email agency, was that we didn't have to invest our time into producing videos and things like that, because firstly, it wasn't where our ideal clients were really hanging out and where we could kind of find them. But really, the sale was more of a consultative one. And indeed, it's the same with what we do inside the Acquisition Partner Program, where our members are partnering with CEOs of long-standing traditional historical companies that have survived COVID and survived multiple recessions over the last few decades. Our members in the Acquisition Partner Program are partnering with those guys throughout a process that is consultative, as opposed to being sold often a emotional whim. Okay, so it's something that requires education, information, follow-up, multiple touch points. But once that relationship is built, this is why our APs build such successful businesses, is that they're able to build a business that basically has no glass ceiling in terms of what they're able to earn, and indeed how sort of sizable their profit margin is, because we teach them and show them how to keep generating revenue from the same clients that they have on their books indefinitely into the future. So the whole notion here and the idea is to build a business based on fewer inputs and fewer variables. That includes the total number of clients, so 3 to 5 clients, where you have no glass ceiling in terms of what you can earn. Okay, but if you're selling something to a market where there is millions of customers, and in the case of toothpaste, it's they can buy them online on their phone, and actually giving somebody a coupon for a discount on a tube of toothpaste might be enough just to keep them loyal to the brand. Then this is where you will sit on that marketing intensive scale here. Okay, so number 3 is level of complexity, and I've picked up on this a little bit here, but ask yourself, is it easy for your client or customer to understand your product or service? And once you've sold it to them and deployed it, is it a self-serve? Okay, so are they able to basically, out of the box use your product? Or does the customer need ongoing education? Now, in actually the deployment of our flagship offer, the Acquisition Partner Program, we combine kind of a multitude of elements here to guarantee success for each of our enrollees. Okay, so with some of our done for you and done with you infrastructures that we clone into our clients and our members' accounts, it's obviously the learning curve there is very quick and easy. We're not giving them 10,000 hours worth of, online content and knowledge that they have to acquire in order to make the deployment of that infrastructure a success. But also in nature and by proxy of having that infrastructure, along comes with it a certain amount of education. So what we want each of our program members to have is not only the infrastructure that they can deploy within 24 hours for their clients, and indeed their businesses, but we also want them to understand that too, okay, so that they can actually go on and sell it, all right? And actually the information gap between knowing, how to build it and how to sell it is huge, and really success of your agency and your offer hinges on how well you are able to sell it, okay? And that's what we focus on in terms of division of kind of inputs and labor within the acquisition partner program. So that's just another example there. But if we go to complexity, say we sit on this side again, with the jet engines, complexity wise, it's a complex sale. Okay, you're going to have to educate each B2B buyer of a jet engine is going to have to be educated on specifically, what that engine does and the value it's going to bring. Okay. So when it comes to fit and finish, this one's important. So once it's sold, is the solution usable out of the box, similar to level of complexity 2, or will you need multiple touch points with your customer to ensure their success? Now, throwing it back to the acquisition partner program, we have up to 15 touch points within those first 14 days of every new enrolled member, so that we can basically ramp up that momentum and that kind of, success and growth curve. Now, if our program didn't dictate that, and perhaps we were cheaper and we had a huger market size, bear in mind, we're not selling to a market of millions of individuals. We're only selling to individuals who have existing agencies that they want to refine and scale quicker. Now, if we weren't doing that, then, maybe we wouldn't have so many touch points. But again, fit and finish wise, although we offer naturally a finished product, we want to make sure that each enrollee has, the required number of touch points with us so that we can ensure their success. Okay. B2B and B2C, this is an interesting one too, right? So I'm just going to scroll down here. Fit and finish again, we'll use the AP program as an example. We'll say fit and finish is low, i.e. we touch in and touch base with all of our members and enrollees more often than not. So we're going to sit low on the fit and finish scale here. All right. So B2B or B2C. Now, obviously, a successful go-to-market strategy and achieving product market fit really ultimately depends on how well you know your target audience. Now, top level wise, are you selling B2B or are you selling B2C? Now, oftentimes a confusion is created when categorizing who your buyers actually are. And we've seen this in the case with brands like Xero or QuickBooks, where initially these companies launched thinking that they were launching a business software to businesses. And what those companies did in the first instant was kind of deploy a more of an enterprise sales process, as opposed to a strategy that leveraged more marketing collateral and output on the content front, because they thought they were selling to a business audience. Now, yes, they're selling a business and accounting software. If you don't have a business or you're not self-employed, then you're not going to use a tool like Xero or QuickBooks, not least if you're in the UK or in Europe. But what Xero and QuickBooks found was that actually, because of the volume, the size of the marketplace, because of the total number of self-employed individuals in the company, and actually because of how easy to use the platform is and the lowest price point and the fact that they do free trials, it's worth more of their time in order to drive sales and growth to focus on marketing collateral, producing content, help articles, support, things like that, because the barrier to entry for people like you and me, business owners, is very, very low. There's a very low learning curve. You hand it over to your accountant. You don't actually need to know how it works as a business owner. So it's not worth them deploying a huge team of international field sales reps to go out and knock on, my virtual office door to try and pitch me a solution that I'm going to ultimately pay, $30 a month for. Okay. Doesn't make sense. And this is what I pose to you as well. You might be thinking, and maybe you're in a position here where you are, you're struggling to actually sell, your online course or your digital product, and you're trying to sell it to individuals that you think are running businesses. Whereas in reality, those individuals actually represent more of a kind of consumer-based psychology when it comes to buying and purchasing decisions. Okay. And one thing to realize here is that consumers and customers, so business to consumer, the pool of consumers is in all cases larger. Okay, so there's more people than there are businesses. And oftentimes the pool of individuals that make up that consumer base is more homogenous. And what that means is that their profiling and their characteristics and behavior, whatever it might be, is much more similar than it is across businesses. Okay. And that's why if you don't niche down and offer something that is specific to a specific company in a specific vertical, then it's going to be difficult to actually, show that you have a kind of product market fit and you know what you're talking about. All right. So in this case, what we're going to do, AP program, we naturally, I guess we're probably about around here. So if you are, we have a couple of guys in the program that are professionals. They work in corporate sales, things like that. They've joined the program because they want to take the leap. They want to become a consultant that's servicing 3 to 5 ultra high ticket clients. But also mostly what we kind of focus on is B2B wise. So if you run an agency now, maybe you run an email agency or you do lead gen and you're basically struggling to close clients for any more than $1,000 to $2,500 per month on any more than 90-day, 3-month retainers, then becoming an acquisition partner, leveraging our infrastructure is something that's going to dramatically transform your business. Okay, so that's a business to business relationship there. Now, the next question to ask is, how is success actually measured with your offer? Okay, so if you, in an ideal world, are unbelievably successful in deploying your offer, what does that success actually look like? Is it based on the total number of transactions and the frequency of those transactions with your customers, i.e. the more the merrier, or is it based more on the longer term relationships that you are able to generate and secure with your clients, and how with each unique customer, you are able to identify new revenue making opportunities and capitalize on those over the duration of that long-term relationship. Now, what this comes down to is customer lifetime value. If you're in the e-commerce space, you'll understand LTV anyway, but what really you need to understand is that longer term relationships dictate a sales intensive approach in almost all cases. Okay. So don't have an offer or a service or a product that is actually going to make more money on the back end over the longer term. Don't try and run a marketing led approach there where you're producing loads of content or distributing loads of media assets, things like that, when actually it'd be much more worth your time nurturing those relationships with these longer term existing customers that you already have. And again, in the case of the AP program, this is specifically what we not only do with our members, but also what we recommend and kind of show them how to do within the program. All right. So lastly here, what it comes down to is touch. Okay. So high touch versus low touch. Now, jet engines require a design-led win. It's incredibly long and drawn out. The process is an arduous road. But each relationship over the span of a decade or 2 decades could be worth billions of dollars. Okay, so what does your offer look like? Again, with the customer lifetime value, how many touch points are you going to have with your client? Are you selling them a tube of toothpaste where they buy it and then they forget, the brand and they don't interact with you and you don't interact with them? Or are they buying something that is high ticket from you and that's going to require you to be checking in with them or coaching them, whatever it might be? Okay. If you're sitting on the higher end of the spectrum here, then you need to be spending more of your time on sales intensive activities. Okay, guys, so there's a lot of information here, but again, what you need to remember is it all comes down to this intersection here between sales and marketing intensive activities. And again, these strategies here and all of these questions, these 7 questions that you need to ask yourself in order to get direction from this offer compass, is all based on picking the right approach so that you can avoid failure and that you can guarantee success. Now, the key to remember is really that the less you are flexing that marketing muscle or pulling that marketing lever and the less results you're getting, the more sales you're going to have to be doing. Okay, the more sales intensive activities you're going to have to focus on. Now, a key to remember here is that if your product is sales intensive, it's getting sold. Okay, whereas if your product is marketing intensive, it's getting bought. Okay, so if it's sales intensive, you have to sell it. If it's marketing intensive, it's going to get bought. Okay, it's a nuanced difference. And if you don't understand that, look back through the video here, take notes and look at all of those 7 core questions to ask yourself. And this kind of relationship here and this nuanced difference will become clearer. Okay. So what you need to remember, again, just as an outcome, is to not confuse sales intensive with marketing intensive activities. Okay, so if it doesn't feel right to make content or launch ads because you've got, I don't know, a super high ticket product or a physical product that you're actually going to have to sit in physical sales meetings with your B2B clients, then you better be doing direct sales. Okay, and another point here is that although this sort of heuristic here and set of heuristics can be used to really reveal what activities you need to be focusing on, whether that's sales or marketing intensive activities, you don't need to aim for checks on all of one side. So you could have checks, you could have a high price point with a big marketplace and medium level complexity, and actually you're selling more to B2B, whatever it might be. But what you're going to find through going through all these 7 heuristics here is actually a visual representation of where you need to sit on this scale. Okay, and it's all about where you focus your limited time and resources. All right, so you can't indefinitely just do one. So when marketing has primacy on this side, sales is there to basically serve marketing in giving a simple place for that transaction to exist. But when sales takes primacy, okay, so when sales is leading the company, what you need to realize is that marketing is there to serve sales, all right? And in terms of how that relationship works, because it is that constant relationship and balance between sales and marketing, when sales has primacy, what you need to make sure is that you're consistently generating leads, qualifying them, and sales are able to close them, okay? So in conclusion to this video, to know exactly where your time and money should be focused, you need to analyze your offer using this compass framework, right? So use the 7 components to determine whether you should be sales or marketing led, as knowing this will truly improve alignment between both channels, which is ultimately the end all be all competitive advantage when it comes to launching an offer that succeeds or not. Okay, so I hope that was interesting, guys. Like I say, this has been something I've used, in multiple rotations and iterations for a variety of our different offers. And hopefully through going through this set of heuristics, it's really going to provide you with clarity on where you allocate your limited time, money, and resources. Okay, so if you enjoyed this insight, like I say, I absolutely love doing these deep dives into, playbooks and strategies and theories from other industries. Specifically at the moment, SaaS, and how we can use those strategies and playbooks and deploy them with our agencies and coaching offers and online products, because it's something that, is really helping me transform my life. Okay, so if you've enjoyed this video, if you've got the level of insight out of it that I've been able to draw out from it, then please subscribe to the channel. Most of you guys, like I say, watch these videos, but you're actually not subscribed. So it'd be, mean an incredible amount to me if you just simply go and click that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, and drop a comment below. I love interacting. So drop me a comment with your thoughts. If you're in the SaaS world, give me your 2 cents. If you are running an agency and you're going to actually deploy these elements here and use this offer compass, then drop me a comment below and I'll send you a response. Until next time, we will catch up then, and I hope everything is going all well in your businesses. And look out for the next video. I will see you soon.